Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. This is live stream number 852. Your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and we take a peek at a tabletop game. Normally, vast majority of the time, every once in a while I'll do a live review, but tonight we are taking a first look, and we are going to be diving on into Brancalonia, Macaronicon. These just don't roll off the tongue, from Acheron Games. And this is the expansion, the first supplement to Brancalonia, the spaghetti fantasy role-playing setting for 5e, which won quite a few Emmy awards. So we're going to be diving on in, taking a peek at this in just a bit. If you're not familiar with the stream, let me also mention that we tackled the tabletop gaming news first. So if you are tuning in live because you'd like to check out Macaronicon, got it out there that time. Keep in mind, be about 35 minutes before we jump on in. So just put your feet up, relax, take it easy, slow down. Sure, you've had a hectic first half of the week. So relax, enjoy yourself. If you happen to be watching this 30 minutes or more after the stream ends, though, you'll be able to skip past the news if you'd like. Though I personally wouldn't, because there's a lot of cool stuff we're going to talk about. But if you have to, you can. And there are actually timestamps in these show notes, as well as, depending on the device you happen to be using to watch this, possibly right there on the timeline of the video on the screen as well. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. One of the ways I keep more of the unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. You also have to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of those more unusual commenters at bay. So first out the gate tonight was the Motor City Madman. That's right, the Madman is with us tonight. Kathy Evans, Mr. Eddie T is with us, and Coco B points out it's Wotan's Day, or Wotan. I always say Wotan. So it's a good day for RPGs. Yes. No emojis for eye patches, spears, or eight-legged horses. Damn you, YouTube. Better get that emoji mojo going. Sarah D's with us, too. All right, so let's dive right on into the news, because arriving early next year is Nimalia. And here's the scoop from Lucky Duck Games. Design the best animal shelter while playing 5 rounds. Each round, you'll have to draw 3 cards, place one, and pass along the others, essentially a simple drafting phase. Each card is composed of 4 biomes, each one of them containing an animal. When you place a card, you have to cover at least one biome. Thus, the whole sanctuary must fit in a 6 by 6 grid. Each game will have a different pool of various objectives. Each round will count only some of the objectives chosen for the game. So you'll have to modify your sanctuary during the game, in fact, during the entire game, so as to score points according to the ongoing objectives. At the end of those 5 rounds, the player who's earned the most points, obviously enough, is the winner. Nemalia is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays around 25 to 30 minutes, going to carry an MSRP of $19.99 when it arrives in the first quarter of 2023. A little animal game there. And I have to point out, Lucky Duck Games isn't necessarily known for smaller footprint games, which this strikes me as being, seeing probably just a small square box because it looks like everything is just on these cards. So it's something to keep your eye out on because normally most of the Lucky Duck games are a little meatier, a little heavier. So I think this is, I'm not to say they've never done a family game, but this is a little bit unusual. It's not necessarily par for the course for Lucky Duck Games. Viper Dave is in chat with us. How's it going, Viper Dave? Welcome aboard. Hitting stores next spring is an interesting looking game from Boards and Dice, which I tried to talk about yesterday. Here's the scoop on Books of Time. Welcome to Books of Time. Your history awaits as you construct 3 great books, building combinations of unique special abilities. Challenge up to 3 of your friends or play solo and tell your own story that will be written and remembered for ages to come. History of humankind has been written down for thousands of years. Our technological achievements, geographical discoveries, and the will to prosper are weaved into intricate threads spread throughout books that tell the story of our time on Earth. Now you have the chance to shape this story. Books of Time puts a unique and exciting twist on tableau building, allowing you to construct 3 great books, each with their own sets of special abilities that you can write and create incredible combinations. The story of a civilization is now truly at your fingertips. There are 3 types of pages that go into player books: trade, science, and industry. During the game, you add pages to these books, creating powerful combinations of actions you can activate. You need to efficiently manage your resources to create the books that will meet your personal objectives and score you the most victory points. Books of Time is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays around 45 to 65 minutes, and early indications are the MSRP will be in the ballpark of $99 and 90, I shouldn't say 99, $49. I saw all the nines for a second. I was like, what? $49.99, which I've got to say, it it looks like that's a pretty good price. If that ends up being the MSRP, it looks like there's quite a bit to this. And it looks like you get these little binders that you actually will put the cards into to create your book. Now, I would be very curious as far as what kind of material those cards are made from, because if they're just regular old cardstock, they may not hold up to a lot of wear and tear. Sarah D's kind of curious if I had to turn the thermostat up to get this news story back from the spiders here in the kingdom of spiders, which it won't be, which I don't think it is anymore, really, because pretty pretty chilly out there today, and we've had snow past couple of days in the Chicago area. I don't know. I don't know. I said before, I feel bad for insects because like, hey, I'm alive, woo! Oh my gosh, I only got to live a week, if even that. Eh. Moving right along, there is a new edition of the Troika role playing game adventure, The Ruinous Palace of the Metagorgos. That's a mouthful. It is actually available for pre order. Here's the latest from the Melsonian Arts Council, a weird, sad RPG adventure for Troika and basic and expert. The snakes in her hair lie languid in sleep. She needs their warmth for her children, you see. Swollen, ever pregnant with memory, Metagorgos waddles about the dark, wet ruination of her ancient home. Long forgotten, she has not been allowed to forget. Again and again, she births wretched reminders of her tragic past. Untold ages has cursed the queen and suffered for her most cardinal of sins. She dared to make herself powerful and better the world around her. Such slights the awful gods do not forgive. Still, above all else, she is a mother. Still yet, does Metagorgos love her torturous children? And so do they love her, and thus are doubly dangerous. We're excited to present the Ruinous Palace of the Metagorgos. This is a new edition. This has been out for a while, so this was a new Kickstarter they ran, which was successful. It's the latest adventure for the wildly popular Troika role playing game, written by RPG veterans Evie Lockhart and illustrated by the multi talented art machine Sam Mamelli. Yes, he's an art machine. In this adventure, you will encounter a densely packed adventure location, easily insertable into ongoing campaigns or used for one shot sessions. It's an adventure with mature, not adolescent themes: motherhood, birth, as well as mild body horror, offering a fresh tone to your ongoing Troika campaigns. Right now, you can pre order the 32-page hardcover for $24.99. Does look like this is a digest sized book as well. I've yet to ever take a peek at Troika. I mean, it looks kind of bizarre, and in some ways, it's weird. I always, well, I should say always, I sort of associate Troika and Into the Odd. I don't know why. They seem sort of similar. Eddie T says that website doesn't seem to be working. Melsonian.com? That's weird because I was on it earlier. So, and that was the web address. I double checked it. So I don't know. You know what? Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. These are the crazy things we can do during a live show as William Hell has Ice is with us. All right, let's see what we get here. All right, so it did not come up. Oh my gosh, it's Melsonia. Drop the N, everybody. Drop that N. Yes, it's Melsonia, even though it's Melsonian Arts Council. And I think that's why I threw that N in there. Thanks for pointing that out, Mr. Eddie T. In the article, when I post on thegaminggang.com, when I put the shows up, I always have links to the different companies and things like that. That one is correct. because I took it right from the web page. On to our next news piece. I never said I was perfect. I didn't realize that Mr. Eddie T was out there checking the web addresses for each of the news stories. Let's see if Jeff's got this right. Yeah, he does. No, he's got this one wrong. I'm just kidding. There's an interesting looking role playing game which has arrived in print and PDF from Black Oath Entertainment and LFOSR. And here's the skinny on Sacrifice, an incense and iron RPG. You were betrayed, marked for sacrifice, branded, but they didn't count on your determination and will to live. 30 asks if I want her to tap Mr. Eddie T with the band hammer. Nah, it's okay. We do have 3 of our 4 chat moderators hanging out too. So that's cute. All right, let's start from start from the top. You were betrayed, marked for sacrifice, branded, but they didn't count on your determination and will to live. Or perhaps it was just pure rage. That terrible night when your world was turned upside down, you discovered who you really are, regardless of the reason or how you survived. But now you're being hunted. Terrible creatures, demons, and spirits of the dead torment your nights. And the Inquisition, the very same institution you once swore to dedicate your life to, has branded you as a heretic, a demon fiend. You travel alone because you know that wherever you go, death will follow. But you march on, perhaps seeking revenge or to make the world a little less dark. One thing is clear: anyone in your way, be it a demonic apostle or the Holy See, will soon learn how strong your will to live is. You'll explore the devastated no man's land in Sacrifice, a large swath of land between the kingdom of Bavaria and the Candanor Dominion that has fallen into chaos due to the country's ongoing conflict. You're far from alone here, though. Soldiers from both factions, commoners, mercenary bands, inquisitors, heretics, bandits, beasts, and demons all walk this land, some of them even making a home out of it. Will you find what you search for here? The Sacrifice in Incense and Iron RPG collection. Yes, I believe it is a collection. You'll see it in the final image that rotates through. Carries an MSRP of $39.99. Once again, including the PDF or PDFs, plural. I'm not sure if it's just one. Or you can score just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG. That's the image I'm talking about. It looks like we've got the book as well as possibly, I'm not sure if those are like little brochure editions. You know how we see that with some role playing games. I've seen where it's just kind of a fold out adventure or even fold out rules. That might be. Can't really tell from the image, but all of that is $39.99 if you order it through LFOSR, or you can get just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $10. Sounds kind of cool. And I shared a news piece from LFOSR, I believe it was last week, and I had mentioned they seem to be a publisher along the lines of Exalted Funeral. And the fine folks over at LFOSR reached out and asked if I'd be interested in checking out some of their titles. And I said, sure, of course. So we are going to get to take a peek at some of the releases from LFOSR. I believe one of them will be Sacrifice. So thought I'd mention it. I thought that was kind of cool. Like I said, this looks kind of interesting, a little bit different. Might, if you're into, say, Lamentations of the Flame Princess, might fit in relatively well with that kind of setting. Or you could take some of those adventures and use it with this. So there you go. Kind of cool. So Mr. Eddie T says she's going to hit me when she sees it. I said your and not your. Ooh, yes, that's bad. That is bad. My Unfortunately, my sister-in-law never gets it right. It's like, but she'll always be posting stuff on Facebook. It's like, YOU apostrophe RE. See, I'm one of these people where if you can't spell correctly and you don't use proper punctuation, I can't take you seriously. And I know nowadays it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters to me. So there you go. All right, on to our final news piece. Now available in PDF for Warhammer 40K roleplay Wrath and Glory is Brass Tax. TAX. And here's the deets from my friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Centuries ago, damn, I knew I forgot to do something today. I only have one image for this, and I forgot to take the other ones out from this. Hang on. I'll explain why things have been kind of wonky past couple of days. Uh, should point out, I still have the game sale going on, and I've had all these people emailing. So I've been running around because sometimes the post office is cheaper, sometimes UPS is cheaper. So I've been running all over the place, delivering things, well, dropping things off to be delivered. Anyway, centuries ago, the Absolvers swore to defend Gilead. Like any vow made by this chapter of the Adeptus Astaris, they will follow that promise to its bitter end. Though the system is caught in the grip of the merciless Cicatrix Maledictum, isolated from the Imperium at large, and with little chance of either escape or reinforcement, the Absolvers have not swayed from this course. They have bolstered the beleaguered system's defenses impressively, but mighty as they are, these stalwart defenders of the Imperium are stretched thin. So it is that the Absolvers' 10th Company, the Neophyte Scouts, have been tasked with missions that in ordinary times would almost certainly demand the attention of a tactical squad of full-fledged battle brothers. On the world of Enoch, an illicit trade in relic bolter shells has ever been a concern for the chapter. With ammunition in ever shorter supply in the Gilead system, this trade has become more than a mere annoyance. Brass Tax is an adventure for Wrath and Glory. It comes with 4 pre-generated character profiles, though players are encouraged to create their own Space Marine Scout squad using the Wrath and Glory core rulebook. The 16-page PDF adventure is available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $3.99. Good to see some new Wrath and Glory stuff come out. I think they had released another real, like, short PDF. I think it had some new equipment in it, if I remember correctly. So, nice to see that Wrath and Glory is still getting support, even though Cubicle 7 Entertainment is working on a brand new Warhammer role-playing game. Warhammer 40K role-playing game, I should say, which will have nothing to do with Wrath and Glory and will not use the Wrath and Glory mechanics either, because, as many of you already know, this was a role-playing game that was through Ulysses Spiel. And no. Yeah, it was. I was going to say, wait a second. Is it Ulysses Spiel? Yes. It was like, because there's two Ulysses companies out there. So it kind of throws you off. Like, huh? Same company that does The Dark Eye, which is, I off the top of my head, I thought it's Ulysses Spiel. Maybe I'm just cracking up. Trying to read chat and talk at the same time and juggle. Maybe you didn't see the balls off to the side that I'm juggling. Anyway, as I said, it's good to see that there's still support for this game. And there's been quite a bit of support for it from Cubicle 7 once they took it over. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Mentioned DriveThruRPG. Don't forget the gaming gang with us, the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storytellers Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on any of our DriveThruRPG ads. And that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a portion of that sale, a very small portion of that sale. But all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Plus, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always head on over to paypal.me/gaminggang and making a small donation. Plus, if you go over to thegaminggang.com, I still have about 145 board games, role-playing games, miniature games that are for sale at rock bottom prices. So yes, as I was mentioning during that Wrath and Glory news piece, I've just in the past 3 days, excuse me, sold like 40 games. It's like, what in the world? It's like, where did all these people come from? Like they weren't coming when it was half of it was going to Extra Life. Like, hello, Extra Life got $404, so that still was cool. So yes, I've been having to run out to and of course put packages together and all the other stuff. So sorry for the little hiccups tonight. But once again, live stream. What can I tell you? So we're going to dive on into Brancalonia Macaronicon in just a couple of moments. But first, I did want to mention I got an email today from my contact over at Wizards of the Coast. Well, their PR company. And the Dragonlance package is in transit. So she told me that it already shipped out and I'll be receiving it this week. So what I'm considering is depending on when it would show up. If it shows up early enough, I will actually make an exception and do a live stream first look. So if you follow me on Twitter, I will reveal it there. I can also put it up on Facebook, but nobody really. I mean, there's some like subscribers or followers, whatever the hell they're considered on Facebook, but Facebook doesn't share any of the posts with them anyway because I refuse to pay. So I think there's, I don't know, 800 people who like the gaming gang on Facebook. And usually I think it's like 7 or 8 of them get to see something ridiculous. A lot of all these social media companies are just absolutely ridiculous now. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Twitter. I'm looking at you, Twitter. Trey Kismet has joined us in chat. So it is a package. So I'm taking a guess the board games in there as well. So probably the 2 versions of the D&D book as well as the board game. So we'll be taking a look at that soon enough. So I'm taking a guess. It'll probably, if it shows up like Saturday, I'll probably just shoot a standalone video. I won't do a live stream. I might hang on to the board game and do a live unboxing of that, but I don't know. Dungeons and Dragons releases, you got to be on top of them. So normally like tonight, I'll get my graphics, my little opening video graphics done for both the book and the board game, so that when it hits, I can open that box and come right on down into the Duct Tape Studios, start shooting like the first look and things like that. Because I've had videos, and you know, of course, it's going to vary because some people are negative on certain, you know, they're down on certain D&D releases, and others they're really excited about. Which this is supposedly one they're very excited about, and I can tell you right now, if I do one right when I get it, I'll have thousands more views than if I waited 2 days. I know it's crazy. So keep that in mind. If it like suddenly shows up, like even if it shows up tomorrow or Friday, I will probably do a live stream. So if you're kicking around, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it doesn't matter. But if you do follow the Gaming Gang on Twitter and you're bumming around, you got nothing cooking, and you see that pop up, be sure to join me. I would appreciate it. All righty. So we are going to be taking a look at Brancalonia Macaronicon. I swear I just can't get it out all in one breath. Just a few moments, but first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Like you crave that corn when it's freshly bobbed, you gotta beat it to the box with the butter on the top. Get with it, man, start strolling down to the sweets that you're rolling, the best in town. Our candy's real gone, if I'm understood. To all you squares, that means the confection is positively delicious. Cork that stuff, give me 5, let me send you into this nutty jive. Go, man, go! It ain't very far. Shake it on down to this cool snack bar. Come on, Jill, give us a treat. A friendly pepper-upper with a tasty beat.
Drink Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, 'cause it never lets you down.
Frosty, man, frosty.
You want a can of Wilkins coffee?
No, give me a bottle of ginger ale.
Okay. But he would have liked the Wilkins.
Here he comes, greatest toy you've ever seen, and his name is Mr. Machine. He is real, and for you he is ideal, and his name is Mr. Machine.
His outside is clear. You can see every gear, the brightest, biggest gears ever seen.
Mr. Machine!
He talks. No, he squawks as he walks. Along the ground and round and round and round. You can take him apart, every gear and nut. But you can put him together and build him up. Wind him. Go on. You can't break the spring, but listen. Hear him ring?
Here he comes, greatest toy you've ever seen, and his name is Mr. Machine. He is real, and for you he's real, and his name is Mr. Machine, Mr. Machine, Mr. Machine!
Yes, Mr. Machine, the most boring toy you've ever seen. That I do not remember. And you can tell that that commercial's from the early 60s. At that point where not everybody had a colored TV. So some commercials were still black and white. What a god awful. So okay, so it just goes around in a circle. And we thought Slinkies were kind of lame. Slinky is like an imagination buster compared to that thing. Flaming Huron is with us in chat. As Mr. Eddie T points out, if you're watching this, haven't hit the like button yet, now's a good time to do it. Thank you, Mr. Eddie T. I do appreciate that. All right, so tonight we are going to be taking a first look at Brancalonia Macaronicon. I guess I kind of got it out in one breath there. It is from Acheron Games. This 164-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $49.99. PDF is available over at DriveThruRPG for $15.56. Let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Brancalonia Macaronicon. So this is an expansion, a supplement. I don't know if there's any other supplements out there for Brancalonia, but we took a peek at the core book and it looked super, super interesting. I have not had an opportunity to dive in, take a peek at it yet, but we did that first look and I was very impressed. I've been impressed by everything we've taken a peek at from Acheron Games, and they are out of Italy. So that's one of the reasons why they've got this kind of, spaghetti fantasy setting for this, as well as Lex Arcana, which is a fantasy Roman Empire that never fell. Bravery! The Macaronicon is the first official expansion for Brancalonia, the spaghetti fantasy setting for the 5th edition of the most famous role-playing game ever. This module collects every stretch goal unlocked during our crowdfunding launch campaign in spring of 2020. Aha! So all of the stretch goals are included in this book. It tells us what's in here, but we're going to take a look to see anyway. So before we dive in, a couple of points to make here. The fine folks over at Acheron Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but no one affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. Very important that you know that. I'm also going to stay picture in picture up here, as I always do. And that means I'll be cutting off a little bit of the upper left portion of the book as we take a peek. I'm also not going to look at each and every page either, but I do want to get a good idea and give you a good idea of what is in this book. Flaming Huron says, just doesn't roll off the tongue as easy as Necronomicon or Nyarlathotep, right? Or Shoggoth. Anyway, Madman says, Spaghetti Fantasy Macaronicon. I'm hungry for pasta for some reason. I actually had some for dinner. Yeah, so there is that. All right, let's jump on in. So we start off with the gateway to Brancalonia right there. So we had this cool map in the core book as well. There are a lot of authors as well as artists, and that's why I did not go through the list of them like I normally will, because just there's so many and there's so many names I would just absolutely butcher. So we've got our table of contents. So we have new knaves. So we get some new races, we get a new class, we have some new subclasses, new equipment, new spells, additional insight. I'm taking a guess it's going to be some more like background for the GM. Or I should say, I think it's really 5e. I guess I should say DM. And in search for quatrains again. So we get some adventures, it looks like. Sweet. So it says this book is a collection of the material unlocked during the game's crowdfunding campaign carried out in spring 2020. At its debut, Brancalonia was the most successful Italian role playing game on Kickstarter, and at the time of writing these words, it is still the first for the number of supporters. All signs of appreciation and vivacity that push us to go forward more and more enthusiastically. The chosen name, Macaronicon, or I guess we could say Macaronicon, but it just sounds better to me is Macaronicon, is a reference to the most classic horror and weird pseudo biblium of all time, which we knew that, the Necronomicon, but also to the original Macaronicon by Defilio Folengo or Lamerno Pitico? I don't know. A masterpiece of Italian macaronic literature. Oh, okay. Cool. All right, so we've got our new knaves of Brancalonia. We have some sub races. Cabin Doll, which is a marionette. What it says, also known as a marionette. We have the Saintlet. We have new races. We've got the Wolf Cat. No artwork of it. It's like, where's the artwork? Where is it? The Puppeteer. There we go. So there's it. So that is our new class. At the end, at the far end of his smoky workshop, a benign-looking Pentagon is applying the finishing touches to his marionettes. He places his latest creation on the countertop and whispers, "Come on, Napo, show me what you can do." So they have animated puppets. So they've got little constructs, I guess, is my guess. All right. So here we got our subclasses. The barbarian gets mountaineer. Guapo, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, for the bard. Exorcist for the cleric. Bravo for the fighter. Spanzig guard for the monk. The gallant knight for the paladin. Rat catcher, there we go. You gotta have rat catchers in your game. You really do. You really do. Actually, in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the rat catcher is a pretty good career, especially to start off with, because you get that small but vicious dog. We have the Gadgeteer for the rogue, the Heresiarch for the sorcerer, and the Talismancer for the warlock. So, strangely enough, it looks like we've got a mix of new art and what appears to be like woodcut art. I don't know if the woodcut art style is new or if these are from something else. So we got new personalities and backgrounds, and this is where I'm going to start skipping pages because I did want to share with you the new classes and everything and the new subclasses. So we've got dispatch writer, crosser, impresario, Lucigno. What is this? Lusignolo? I have no idea. Hey, I treat English like it's a second language. How well do you think I'm going to pronounced Italian. We've got the Prelate, Relic Hunter. So we get new equipment. We've got new adventuring gear. Got new spells. Angelic Emanation. Cleanse. Dreadful Tale. Exorcism. Well, I would hope we'd have exorcism because we have an exorcist. It looks like we've got just maybe 10 new spells, right? Here's our additional insight. So I think this is setting background. What it appears to be. Scum of the Kingdom. Yes, you are knaves. Although you got the Paladin, so I don't know about the Paladin really being a, scum. Tortoises Extravaganza, and I have no idea how to pronounce that. On the nature of fairies, hobs, and turquoises. That's not tortoises. Turquoises, I guess it would be. I'm not used to. I know the word turquoise, but not turquoises. That's strange. All right. Hobbs of the Kingdom. So Hobbs are kind of like fae folk. Holy Ship and Sacred Cow. So Relic, Miracles, and Miraculous Companion. Ooh, is this our bestiary we got coming up? So we got relics, a relic cluster. Holy cow. That's pretty wild. Pretty wild looking. Yeah, it's a mummy, I believe. So we get recipes, which I thought was interesting. We had recipes in the core book too. So is this? Yep. So here we have our little short adventures. The Red Carnival. That's a cool looking map. Vortiga, Queen of the Seas. So it looks as if each of these is maybe 4 or 5 pages long. As I say that, I think this is looking like this is 8, 9, 10. Cool. Nice. Is this the Divine Sow? I have to admit, the font here is not the easiest to make out. So, not exactly the font I would gone with. And it's one of the things, and I have a review coming up that I'm going to make mention of the font that is used, where I get it. I do understand. On one hand, you want something to look impressive and, oh, wow, that looks a little bit different. But the whole thing is usability has got to be number one. If I don't care how it looks, if it's like, oh, that looks pretty cool. If I can't read it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how cool it looks or how unique it looks. If it can't be scanned over to play a game, well, you're gonna get dinged for it. The Criminese novel. After loitering in the dusty corners of their den and postponing this ominous moment for as long as they could, the knaves have been summoned yet again to the deadliest region of the kingdom, Penumbria, to work at the service of an old acquaintance, the fallen noble, great son of a Pelicarper, Lapidario de Moli. Here, the guards, bravos, cutthroats, and gangs all have the same fixation. The imminent football, jeez, the imminent football challenge taking place 10 days from now. Football is a damn serious business in Penumbria, and the melee between Crimini and Urbino, the deadliest event of any mid-season. Right, that's kind of interesting. So, I mean, it's a soccer match. It's not some fantasy game. It's a soccer match. Cool. I do like the presentation of the maps that we have seen in Brancalonia. Once again, like I said, everything we've seen to this point from Acheron Games is just top notch, really nicely done. Now, the presentation we're talking about, I haven't dove into the games, and yes, I know there has been discussion about Lex Arcana and being a very very different sort of system that not everyone is able to wrap their heads around. So I'm very curious about that. All right. So no bestiary with new creatures, but it looks like in the adventures we have some new monsters as well. All right, there we go. So First Kings, that I am not familiar with. I think that's new. Inferno is a recent Kickstarter that Acheron Games did, and it's based on Dante's Divine Comedy. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it's out in PDF now, and it's 2 books. I believe it's a player's book as well as a game master's book. Let me get some artwork on the end papers here. Sweet. So that is Brancalonia Macaronicon. Ooh, I got it rolled off my tongue right there. From Acheron Games. It is available now. It is 164 pages. The hardcover carries an MSRP of $49.99. And the PDF is available over at DriveThruRPG for $15.56. So must be exchange rate for that kind of odd pricing there. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera because I will have a review of both the core book as well as the expansion in the very near future. Sweet. And as I pointed out, we're probably going to have a Lex Arcana week because I still have 4 more books for us to take a peek at as well. So got a lot of RPG stuff on the horizon. I've got the updated edition of Into the Odd from Free League Publishing. And then I also have, which you voted on what you wanted to see, and you voted for Alien, the role-playing game, Heart of Darkness. But I also have Ruins of the Lost Realm, Realm, singular, for the One Ring, in Shrink. They don't, kind of weird, because usually Free League doesn't put stuff in Shrink. But I was like, oh, it's in Shrink, okay. And then I've got the Mythic Britain and Ireland book for Lawson, so which I thought was a very cool role-playing game. So this is, I think, the first major supplement for that as well. So cool. We are going to be taking a peek at a bunch of stuff once again. As I mentioned, Dragonlance is on its way as well. So, and then of course I've got some board game stuff that we'll be taking a peek at, and I've got reviews as well. There is a lot going on. I have a bunch cooking. So stay tuned. All right, that is it for tonight's edition of The Dispatch. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. They'll also let you know when I upload standalone videos, such as the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons Dragonlance coverage. So if you're curious about that, stay tuned. If you were watching live, thank you very, very much. Of course, when you're not watching either live or on Memorex, remember, check out thegaminggang.com for latest news, reviews, and more that you're not going to find here on the YouTube channel. Anyway, so if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, much appreciated as well. You get some extra experience points for that. But I know not everybody has an opportunity to watch live. All that matters to me is that you've taken time out of your busy life to watch any of the videos on the channel. And I really do appreciate that. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back on a Monday. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.